4, 3, 2, 1. Greetings, everyone, from Malibu, California. This is Ann Comaros with the 4th Estate News. So, since the election's not final yet, still a candidate for governor of California. Nonpartisan, non-party, or no party. Not that they really worked out. So, we're still waiting for all the votes to come in and stuff. And don't need the mic, see? It's kind of like we have mics here. So I just saw LA County Sheriff Department go by because 2 homeless people were involved in a fight. Another one stabbed another one. I got a report because I talked to them. So I do talk to the homeless. Matter of fact, one asked me for $2. So I obliged and gave them a $2 bill. So, which is kind of one I was saving for church. So, like, see, that's what I use is these $2 bills. So, see? It's backwards because it's Facebook. So, let's get to the subject at hand. So, just a quick update. The election has not been certified yet, and there's some concern that the federal government might want to do an audit of all the votes. Because there is one thing that I can't quite get clear, which is very suspicious, is why would anybody in LA County vote yes for more taxation? Yeah, Measure ER, half-cent sales tax increase. That is absolutely bizarre. You don't want to pay more for gas tax, don't want to pay more income tax, don't want to pay CRV, don't want to do all these other things, property taxes, but yet you're okay. When you get a chance to make a change, you say, no, we'll take more taxes. I want to meet one person that voted yes on Measure ER. I have not met a person say that. Now, because of this form, which is your registration form, we can tell who's a Democrat and who's a Republican. Yeah, because unless you didn't choose no party preference, everyone's going to know which side you're on. So, elections have consequences, and if you voted for the wrong person, this might become a problem, especially if they do a recount. So, you're going to get these envelopes, because I had one around here somewhere. Oh yeah, I got to keep my envelope. This is actually an envelope that was given to me in person from the county registrar's office. So it has my address on there, which is not a problem, because that's my mailing address. Feel free to send me stuff. It's my official address in terms for mailing. Now, where I live, you can keep that confidential, especially if you're a candidate or hope, or sometimes you want to call it a high-profile individual. You know, so like, I guess that's what they call candidates, high profile. So there you go. So the reason I even bring up the election is, once again, it's not certified. So we have, that's LA County Fire Department responding to a call. I thought I had the radio on, but I guess I'm not hearing it. So I don't want to get distracted, okay? Stay on topic. Don't get distracted. But everything going on, and it's live, not AI. This is live. And so everybody else says, "Ann, how can you prove you're live?" It really is. None of this is AI. Matter of fact, I believe strongly that AI should be it should be outlawed to be used in political campaigns. It's not right. You know, we want to know what's true, not what's made up. So there's a lot of controversy right now. One of the biggest ones is, you can see these people here, the no party preference people. They make up about 26.4% of the vote, and none of their candidates made it that far. In other words, didn't make it to the November, or at least we haven't yet made it to the November election. That is a problem, because where are the nonpartisan, no party preference, non-party people? Who are they supposed to support? Okay, so that's a great question. So both candidates have to figure out how to win over the no nonpartisan, non-party preference vote. It includes independents as well. The Green Party, we have Peace and Freedom, and we have other parties that are also. There's over 26.74% at least has been reported that is now not represented because they don't choose, well, nonpartisans don't choose sides. No blue, no red. See, I'm wearing blue today. I like blue. But can't wear it, really, during a campaign because they'll think you're a Democrat. If I wear red, they'll think I'm Republican. So I try to keep it purple and burgundy, which are two good colors I very much enjoy. So what are we talking about? So one thing is all the candidates. I mean, you got the Xavier Becerra, who, is a Democrat. You got Steve Hilton, who's a Republican. Neither one of them has reached out to the nonpartisans, the no party preference folk. And how do they fit in? And why should we vote for them when we're not represented at all? So which one? Now, I have it on good information that a lot of the non-party preference folk are really Democrats. So those votes, since they're not represented, will probably go to Xavier Becerra. So, and somebody says, well, are you a fan of Xavier Becerra? I says, well, no, not really. I'm not a fan of any candidate that associates with political gangs, gang affiliation, blue and red. I'm not a big fan. I'm nonpartisan. I just see a person. I want to vote for the people, that person, not the party, and that kind of stuff. So it's best to do that. Right now we're having a little bit of this is Malibu, which is LA County, not LA City. So just so you know, with Spencer Pratt taking issue with, the two candidates, Karen Bass and the ramen person, kind of name calling and stuff. And it's like, well, it's not very nice. But one thing I didn't like is they were kind of referring he was referring to it like it's war. I was like, wow, political warfare. See? I said political. That's what happens when you have red and blue. You end up having war eventually. See? So is it better just to get rid of political affiliations, gang affiliations, reds and the blues and and just vote for the person? So we're the candidate for lieutenant governor. I won't mention her name, but I follow her on Facebook, and she actually had a good idea. And she said, spending limits. We should all have the exact same spending limit. The other one was what it takes to qualify, which I don't agree with her. The bigger issue is who controls the media. Now, Steve Hilton had a lot of exposure on Fox News, okay? So the equal rules don't really apply on cable, but he had access to the media. So I did not. I made several attempts to be on their shows. They said no. Conan Noland, who shares some of my views about Sheriff Chad Bianco wearing his uniform on, that campaign in, he never put me on the show. I called the radio station, KBC. They don't, KNX, nothing. So, but I'm around. So the other thing I'm trying to reach out right now is just to give an update. We are in high spirits. Sorry, the window down there a little. Trying to get a little light. The other thing too, see those bathrooms back there? So over here, there's a VOP. Maybe I can switch cameras. Let's see. Here, let me see if I can do this. See, you'll see a VOP over there. That's a white car. You barely see it by the library. You'll see him turn there. And the reason he's there is because they were having a gang fight. And the sheriff stopped by. So now we have the volunteers on patrol to keep an eye on the homeless there. Okay. So, he's turning around here. Hold on. Let me show you. He's coming around. Hold on. Okay, there he is. Right there. There you go. Wave to him. Hi. So they usually they pretty much know who I am. So they see me. So I'm in a marked vehicle, you know, news media vehicle. Plus I got a license plate and stuff. So once again, it was just that update about the election. It's not certified, so it's not over until it's over, right? So it's kind of like a horse race, you know. It's like coming from behind. But in this case, that might take a lot. So again, and just in terms of fighting, it's like I picked up the Malibu Times, who never did a story on me running. Almost no press. I got almost zero press in my own town. But here, they'll pick up on this, which is backwards right now, on a nonprofits fighting nonprofits for fire suppression, fire control, making sure we don't burn again. Now, see, here's the problem. Nonprofits fighting nonprofits. That's insane. But yet, that'll make it in the paper. You know what doesn't make it in the paper? That Ann wants to donate a communications license to a nonprofit so they can communicate emergency alerts and stuff, free of government control. They don't write a story about that. All these great things we want to do. Those bathrooms back there, homeless people, there must be at least 12 homeless people right now. Those bathrooms are locked. They're here 7 days a week, and they're only open for 1 day. Yet they sit there. Okay? So, things like that, bathrooms. Simple things that, you know, I have to advocate. I'm not an activist. I don't want to call myself an advocate because I wanted to make the change. I really did. Right now, we all have to unite. And that means we got to figure out a way to stop all this politics stuff. Because, like I said, 26.74% of voters are nonpartisan. No party whatsoever. They don't like politics. They don't want to disclose. They don't want to endanger themselves. See, if you put down Democrat, Republican, they're going to know. They're going to mail you stuff. They know your address. And if you voted incorrectly, there could be repercussions because the elections do have consequences. So they're going to say, did you vote for me? There you go. It's going to be just like that. And it could possibly, it's supposed to be anonymous, right? But is it really? Is it really anonymous? You know what is anonymous? Non-party preference. They have no idea. It's neutral. Yeah. Politic free. See, you don't want people to know where you live and you're a Democrat there or something like that. These are all MAGA. Somebody just said MAGA. Speaking of MAGA, since I have your attention, and you know, I do them live because, like I said, I'm going to go to church, which starts at 5. There's a sheriff. The sheriff just went by. Did you see the sheriff? Hold on. Here we go. There, you see the sheriff? He's keeping an eye on those homeless people that got into a fist fight. And apparently one stabbed another. That was a report I got. So, things like that. So I'll keep it short. Yeah, non-party preference. I mean, I guess I'm going to appeal to Xavier Becerra, Xavier Becerra and Steve Hilton. And all the people that want to show their colors. Then you got to remember, who are those people that you're leaving out? And how am I going to vote? Because right now, I feel kind of left out of the race. I feel left out even in the vote. Who am I going to vote for? There's Republican and Democrat. There's no party preference candidate that made it to November. So that's kind of hard. So, okay. So I'll kind of keep it kind of shortage. But everything's okay. You know, it's Malibu. What can be wrong? You know, it's pretty nice out here. But there's, just real quick on the homeless issue. This was a big issue in the election. Yet here it is. You know, 12 people are homeless right now. I don't want to go shoot them, but I'll tell you this. The People's Concern in Santa Monica will be getting a phone call from me on Monday. The People's Concern out of Santa Monica. Because some of these people's ballots went there. Did they make it to the person? I don't know. They get the mail. They're reporting this. This is a report from the homeless folk here. It said that they take their mailing address is the people's concern. We need to call. We need to go there and see if that's true. And they indeed voted. I didn't see everybody, all the regular homeless folk. I did give one a $2 bill. The other thing here, I was at the library. So what? So, Ann, what brings you to the library? It's like, well, I kind of lost my library card, and they rent out like tools and stuff, all kinds of weird tools like pressure washers and sanders and stuff you don't really want to buy. You can rent. So I took the opportunity to try out these binoculars because things look pretty good in the sky, but I don't own any binoculars. So I got a 7-day try it out thing. So at the library, you can rent tools. You can, camera equipment. They have camera equipment. They have audio equipment. They have all kinds of stuff. So there you have it. So the library. So that's it. I'm early for church, but that's okay. Have to leave there. Just keep an eye on stuff here and just kind of enjoy the nice weather here in Southern California. Because somebody just said MAGA, which is, I have a slogan was kind of, please help make California great again. That's not necessarily MAGA. That's just a slogan. Because some people say it's great. It's like, well, if it's great, that's because you made it. There's a lot of people don't necessarily, they love California, they're here, but they wouldn't necessarily agree that it's great. Right? So, okay, I'll let you guys be. Thank you, and God bless.